Great. Well, welcome everybody. And it's so fantastic to see so many friends and colleagues all joining us together in this 11th RCE meeting for Africa. And a huge thank you for everyone who's made it possible, especially our colleagues at UNU in Japan. And we know that Fumiko is not too well today, but her colleagues will be with us. So thank you. What is amazing about today, as you'll have noticed from the chat, is all the networks that are joining in. And how marvelous is that the RCE network is becoming a global network of networks and globally, but also how powerful it's working in Africa. We have many members from the SADC REIT, such as Victoria Ferdinand from Tanzania, EST ExpertNet, Pukraj Nicola from the ExpertNet Global Network, and the Orange Senku stakeholder group are just joining in. Sonia, Shirley, Torvo, welcome guys, and good to have you with us. UNESCO from Regional Office Southern Africa, and ASP.NET, Katja, shot for joining us from Paris. So we certainly have people joining in from all over, Eswatini and so on. And as Rob has just pointed out, today is Heritage Month. And what better heritage to look after than the heritage of Africa, because it's time for Africa. And I'd just like to, first of all, allow our team members who are managing this show to introduce themselves. Matthew Cox is at Umgeni Valley, part of the KwaZulu-Natal RCE. But sitting next to me is Robert Donahue, who will be helping with the narration and supporting the heritage. Rob is just waving. Rob, you can just say hello.
Hello.
Rob is a man of few words. He's just said as hello, but he was just beaming when he saw all your names come up. And isn't that fantastic to see so many good friends? They're not old friends, you're all young friends. Good to see you all with us today. We also have an amazing team at Rhodes University, and Maleche was the one who did all the greetings in all the languages of Africa. Hey Maleche, a big thank you to you. And guys, did you know, here's a trade secret. Maleche has just graduated cum laude with a master's degree. So a big well done, Maleche. Maleche, would you mind just introducing yourself if you're not blushing too much?
Thank you so much, Jim, for the lovely words of encouragement on this lovely day. Dumelang, everyone. Hello, bonjour, salam alaikum, moroi, molweni, konnichiwa. The list is very long, guys, but I've been learning so much over the last week, especially around the different RCEs that we have today, but also around the different ways of greeting in the different many languages, and especially with the SST course, where we've also been having participants from different countries around Africa. So I'm so excited to be here today, and really looking forward to the lovely jam-packed session that we're going to have today. So yeah, thank you so much, Jim. It's an honor to be here.
Great, Maleche. And the fourth member of the steering group of the meeting is the man who's carried it all. His name is Previn Chetty, and he would like to introduce himself and tell us a little bit about the RCEs of Africa. So great stuff. Over to you, Previn.
Hi, welcome everybody. We are super excited to have all of you with us today, and all the different stakeholder groups with us. We are absolutely enthused that we have the SST panelists, course members, the Orange Senko group, and the RCE members. We're so glad we have about 28 RCEs with us today, which is quite an amazing thing. And I just want to orientate you to some of what the RCE is about, to those of you who are still a bit unfamiliar with the concept. And basically, the RCE is a global initiative, and it creates a global platform that is implemented at local level. So with official links to the United Nations Agency, formal education institutions, and informal educators worldwide, RCEs are in an ideal position to respond to our pressing global problems of climate change and other environmental issues. The RCE network brings together multi-sectoral and interdisciplinary members who might not usually work together, and as such, they're uniquely placed to help create solutions to sustainability challenges through dialogue, education, and learning. Through these efforts, RCs help prepare local leaders of tomorrow with the tools and information they need to make smart and sustainable choices for the future. RC efforts encourage innovation and new approaches to sustainable development, and they translate existing knowledge into concrete actions that empower individuals to make sustainable choices for themselves and their communities. And isn't that exactly what we are doing with the Sustainability Starts with Teachers course? And isn't that exactly what we are doing in all of our networks together? So the success of each RC achieved on the local level is brought to scale through the global RC network worldwide, which currently has over 181 RCE collectives globally. Local knowledge, expertise, and best practices are shared globally through the network and can be adapted and applied successfully in all other regions. RCs also play a central role in the transfer of global technologies, knowledge, and experiences. So today, we hope that you are inspired to join your local RCs, and even if you don't have one, to start your own, because we are very, very confident that you're going to see all of the amazing things that the RCs are doing, and you're going to want to be a part of that too. So thank you, Jim, and over back to you.
Great, Previn. Well, what a useful overview that is. And guys, in Japan, at the United Nations University RIAS, we have Kiki, and we have, as I mentioned, we have Fumiko, who's not feeling well today. Our thoughts are with her. She'll soon recover. But Kiki is superb at supporting all of us with this whole network. So that central coordinating unit in Japan, huge thank you to them and their colleagues and their bosses. They're going to flight a video, a very, very short video shortly. And Miki has helped manage that. And Miki, if you would just convey our love and best wishes to Fumiko. Thanks, Miki. All right, so what's going to happen next is we have a world famous poet. And we're not too sure where she's greeting us from. We think it's definitely in Africa. A lady who's inspired us time and time again, Professor Akpezi Obugwe, and she has written a poem and flighted a video especially for this conference. How lucky we are. And the lady herself has joined us. So I think she'll make a quick greeting, and then Previn and Maleche will flight a video. And brace yourselves, guys, this is one of the most spectacular short videos I have ever seen about it's time for Africa, but what are the essential issues we're facing and how are we going to rebuild a more sustainable future for everybody? So there we have her, Akpezi, a warm welcome and a quick greeting before we flight your video.
Yes, a warm welcome to everybody, from Japan to Aussie, KwaZulu-Natal, Aussie, Makana, and rural Eastern Cape for putting out this unique program, and all the Aussies in Africa, 28 Aussies. Yes, Africa, here we come. Thank you, Jim. Thank you for your team. It's going to be an exciting day.
Shot Akpezi. So now we go back to our technical team, Maleche and Previn, and sit back. And guys, Akpezi's also sent us the words. So they'll be flighted in the script for this conference after the meeting. So you can follow the words and get the copy of the video if you'd like to share it with your family, friends, students, and so on. It's especially relevant to the Sustainability Starts with Teachers group who have joined us for this meeting out of UNESCO Regional Office Southern Africa, and people like Patience. Patience, thank you for being with us. So over to our video. Thank you very much.
It's time for Africa. For most of our lives, planes traced intricate patterns across the skies, ferrying passengers from holiday to boardroom, from meetings to mansions, on and on. Society chugged like the eternal locomotive. Ships and rigs dotted our oceans like a million rubber ducks in the tub of the world. Students entered schools and exited universities, from child to adult, with scarcely a breath in between. We reveled in stadiums, bickered in markets, and flung our riches at shopping malls. And then there was silence. A wave of quiet swept the world. For the first time in many generations, we stopped to consider. And nature breathed a sigh of relief. In that quiet, Africa heard her own voice. The voice once lost in the clamor of external voices, offering horrid solutions and colonial strings attached. The voice that rebounded off the walls of protectionist societies, only in need for themselves. In that moment of silence, that voice rings. Tremors of love rise up from the earth. The rivers giggle to a tune of abundance. The mountains and meadows, flora and fauna, all join in this symphony of possibility. The wisdom of the ancients and the brilliance of the youth come together to weave a tapestry. The threads dyed red by war and those bleached by the tears of the poor, all woven together with respect and compassion to create a new pattern, a new foundation from which we can build a new garden of Africa. We chart a new path. Instead of laying new stone on old and broken roads, learning from our mistakes and with respect for our soil, we find a new sustainable way with respect, with peace, creativity, and welfare of all. Sustainable growth for sustainable futures. A path of trust, collaboration, and service to one and all. We as Africans will shape our land and present our success as a gift to the world. Hello world! This is Africa. It's time.
Okay.
Well, what a magnificent overview. Akpezi, you've done us proud, and Previn and us, we're going to share the lyrics of that poem with everybody. But what a marvelous, marvelous poem. And as I was listening to it, I was just thinking, how many teachers of students, how many lecturers, how many professors can use these words with their students to puzzle out the fact that it's time for Africa as they develop more sustainability practices on Earth. So a huge thank you, Akpezi, for writing that poem, especially for this 11th RCE meeting for RCEs from Africa. Now, many years ago, the President of the United Nations laid a challenge out to the world. What was his name? And he said, we should have a decade of education for sustainable development. That challenge was taken up by the Japanese government, and starting in the early turn of the century, they began the ESD program that we're all part of now, that's culminating in ESD 2030. But a huge thank you to the Japanese government for supporting the RCEs worldwide. And now we're going to hear a message from them, which Miki has sourced from the Department of Environment Affairs in Japan. And we have a brief message from Japan to all the RCEs of Africa. Thank you very much, Previn and Maleche.
Warm welcome to all of you to this RC regional meeting. I'm Takeo Sugi, the Director of the Office of Environmental Education at Ministry of the Environment, Japan. it's my great honor to give a message for the opening session of the RC regional meeting today. As you all know, the RC is a flagship program on ESD which conducted by UNUIS. It has fully funded by Japanese government from the beginning since 2003. On behalf of funding supporter, I would like to take this opportunity to say a few words through this video message. First and foremost, I would like to thank all the RC members for your efforts in promoting ESD in order to realize a decarbonized and sustainable society. Also, I thank the host organizations and UNUIS secretariats, especially the director, Dr. Yume Yamaguchi, and the program head, Dr. Takemoto, and his team, for supporting partnership nearly last 2 decades. The RC program was installed and established partnership among institutions, local, regional, and national level. We welcome continuous involvement and support from the all RC partners and lessons learned and going forward. To achieve SDGs and accelerate in its actions, we, MOEJ, are currently striving to realize carbon neutrality through the local SDGs. The local SDGs aim to provide integrated solutions to environmental issues interlinked with the economy and society in various regions. To realize them, we are working together to support building meaningful partnership and intersectoral cooperation within the local communities and beyond. The year 2020 was the hardest year on record. Not only suffered from COVID-19, but also with average of global temperature 1.2 degrees Celsius above the pre-industrial level. IPCC 6th assessment report also warned us of the severity of future climate change and the associated impact and risks. Changes are imperative and urgent. It was to be being placed in ESD with awareness, knowledge, and action for sustainability. Fortunately, this year provides us two great opportunities to strengthen ESD and generate actions towards sustainability. The first one is UNESCO's World Conference on ESD, which was held in May. To mobilize support ESD for 2030, a new framework on ESD and the roadmap for actions for the next decade. And the second one is COP26, which will be held in this coming November. Enhance momentum to addressing in climate change and strengthen collaboration between education and the environmental sectors. ESD provides to learners with knowledge, skills, attitude, and values to address climate crisis and other global environmental challenges. By ensuring that learners to prepare to address increasingly complex global challenges such as tackle with climate crisis, protect biodiversity, clean ocean plastic debris up, promote global health, closing economic disparity, and also help to support and promote ambition of development that is economically inclusiveness, social justice, and environmental sustainability. Given that, we must get proactive to seek out innovative approaches towards SDGs and SDGs for 2030. Last but not least, I am very much encourage all of you to participation in upcoming action-oriented energy sessions, benefits from various dialogue and discussion forums. I hope this RC regional meeting all success and thank you all for your strong support and participation in this RC regional meeting. Thank you.
So thank you very much a big thank you from the government of Japan, Ministry of Environment, for that overview of how we're working towards the Sustainable Development Goals. And just remember, everybody, it was an African leader, Kofi Annan, who was one of the few people to serve 2 terms of office in the United Nations as Secretary General. Kofi Annan gave that challenge to the world. He said, we need a world for sustainable living. And that was the motivation that the Japanese government picked up on and set up this trajectory of education for sustainable development. So a huge thank you to Japan for all the work they've done, and particularly the Ministry of Environment. How proud we've all been to work with them. Our next short video is going to tell us how RCEs are collaborating. We have RCE Gauteng, RCE Makana, and RCE KwaZulu-Natal that are collaborating around water and water management. And Rob O'Donoghue, sitting next to me here, that's what Rob, wave again, has put together this very short video just to show you how RCEs collaborate. And it's particularly relevant to the Orange Senku river basin system, because Gauteng on the Vaal River is right in the middle of that huge river basin system. So over to Previn and Maleche to flight our next video.
Hello, I'm Rob O'Donoghue from the Environmental Learning Research Centre at Rhodes University. And in this brief presentation, I'm going to look at RCE collaboration, something that we're learning to do as we have been living with COVID and interacting more widely. So in this case, looking at the RCE Makana, where we have Previn Chetty, Gauteng, where Sol Shava from UNISA is, and KwaZulu-Natal, where Jim Taylor is, we started working with heritage knowledge in an informal ESD partnership. And the inspiration for this was the Forgotten Worlds work, which has mostly been produced for tourism and is not getting into the curriculum yet. And what this illustrates, particularly around Jim Taylor's Orange Senku project, is the Bokoni. We're an agroecological society, like all the agroecological societies and cultures in East and Southern Africa. They were sedentary cultures. They weren't nomadic cultures as the colonial histories represent them. So there's a lot to be learned from this opening up of insights into the deeper and earlier histories in the Africa and Southern African settings. So the question became, how do we include Indigenous knowledge heritage in our ESD work with Fundisa for Change, a project that moves across the country, and the UNESCO SST in the region as RCEs. Now, working with a T-learning approach and research that has been developed by the ELRC under the leadership of Hela Lotsa-Sitka, what we did is we worked with this approach using the SDGs and the idea of past living heritage for climate change education. And here, Shaunumisa with her VVOB project was an important Fundisa for Change initiative. Well, all the work is linked to the handprint care from the Center for Environmental Education in Ahmedabad, India, where with the support of Engagement Global, we were involved in a collaboration across Mexico, Germany, India, and South Africa. And it became useful to begin to think about African knowledge, and heritage food gardens came up, inspired by the work that I did with Tich Pesanai, and now also with Wilma van Staden. So what we're trying to do here is to look at composting, rain capture, gardening for greens, and also planting trees as topics that can be curriculum-based and taught in an ESD way. Then we also have the heritage foods and health work that's being done by Janet Snow with teachers around Treverton, And then also this work has been widely done by people around the country, including Ken Khoza and Baba Safo in the early days, and the work on cholera with hand washing. Then on to heritage and water, where Ayanda and Jim are leading the way on the Orange Senku, looking at clean water, sweet water, good water, and the seasonal floods that naturally polluted in earlier times. And finally, the SDGs and biodiversity work that I'm doing with my grandchildren, inspired by the earlier work on gardening, health and water, particularly with Mba Manqele. Also, my colleague Sibongile Masugu, and the indigenous scholars in Southern Africa have a good history of being able to recover this knowledge and bring it to the fore, so that the forgotten worlds are likely to become a process of remembering a forgotten past. But by recalling that past, we're able to understand the present, and we're able to reimagine the future that is more just and sustainable. And here I'm drawing on the work of Kensuke Sensei and his colleagues in Japan, and also being inspired by the work of Trina Nhlope, where she talks about the idea of touching the past with our memories to feel the future flying on the wings of our imagination. As we work in ESD around heritage, around the present, and towards doing things in better ways that have less impact on the planet and are more just. And I think that's one of the key things about our RCE work together.
Great. Well, Rob, thank you so much for that overview. And I've kept mentioning in this meeting how often it's been the colonial practices that have silenced the forgotten worlds of Africa, and how proud we can be of all those city-states that were very well developed, whether we're talking about places like Great Zimbabwe and others, forgotten in the narrowing that colonialism brought to Africa. So thanks, Rob, for illuminating that and picking out all the practical things we can do about how we grow our vegetables, even how we wash our hands. And I know that Iris Chimbotso from Zimbabwe will be smiling as she listens to that hand washing and health that was so much part of the cholera crisis of Harare around 2011, which she responded to with the help of many other people. But I did keep mentioning UNESCO, and the last introduction from me will be to Won Yong-byun from UNESCO Paris. Won, I hope you're listening in. She said she would be joining us. And we have a video clip from Won that really tells us what is the official route, the roadmap to ESD 2030. And again, this is an incredible resource that anyone can use teaching your students. If you want to know what the global pathway, the global roadmap is for ESD, what better thing to do than to share this clip from Won with them. Thank you very much, Won, and back to our team at Rhodes.
Hello, my name is Won Jung-byun. I'm Senior Project Officer in the Section of Education for Sustainable Development here at UNESCO headquarters. I would like to briefly introduce you to this new global framework ESD for 2030, which aims to promote education for sustainable development in achieving all of the 17 SDGs within the time frame of 2030. The roadmap, which underlines the plan of action, has been published also last year, and you can find it on UNESCO's website. Some of the key features of this new framework includes the fact that ESD is an integral element and a key enabler to achieving all 17 SDGs. And in this regard, we would like to promote 5 priority action areas continued from the phase of the Global Action Program, which are namely advancing policy, transforming learning environments, building capacities of educators, supporting young people, and accelerating local level actions. And around these 5 priority action areas, there are 6 implementation strategies, which include implementing ESD for 2030 at country level, promoting collaboration and partnership through global network called ESDNet, communicating for action, including continuing UNESCO Japan Prize on ESD, promoting research, mobilizing resources, and monitoring the progress. In this regard, the recent conference on education for sustainable development held in Berlin between 17 to 19 May 2021 had a very important document called Berlin Declaration on ESD, which underlined that all participants commit to ensuring that ESD is a foundational element of our education systems at all levels, including as a core curriculum component. And to harness these changes in our societies, strong political commitments were made also by 17 ministers and vice ministers of education. So time is now for action, and I hope this Africa RCE's meeting will be one of the stepping stones in promoting action within the continent. So I look forward to speaking to you further during the event. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Jim, for those introductions. And now we are going to go into, we're going to have Dr. Fumiko Noguchi, who is a research fellow at the UNU IS Global RC Service Center, and she's going to give us a updates on the RCEs, which we will get to know more about. And then after her, we are going to have Dr. Abdul Husseini from RCE Mina, who will give us his reflections on what the last 2020 RCE meeting was about. And then straight from there, we are going to go into the Africa RCE roundup. So we've had a number of video submissions from our RCEs around Africa, and we are going to flag that video for you immediately after. So please do sit back and enjoy. Please also note that we do want to make this meeting interactive. So if you have any questions, if you have any things you want to say or comments, please use the chat. If you have any questions directly related, please use the Q&A, and we will open up the session for questions and answers after our keynote address. Thank you, everybody. Malecha, take it away.
Good morning, distinguished guests and RC members in Africa. I'm Fumiko Noguchi. I'm the research fellow at UNUIS. I would like to share the updates from Global RC Service Center for the last 1 year. Due to the time constraints, I won't go through all the details of the PowerPoint, which I will be shared with you later on. Since its inception in 2003, RC Global Network has been growing. Now we have 181 RCs around the world clustered into 4 regions, including Africa and Middle East, Asia Pacific, Europe, and Americas. And we welcomed 7 new RCs in the last 1 year from Asia Pacific region and Europe and Americas. Awards are given to innovative ESD projects by RCs annually. This award recognizes the projects and programs that bridge local and global perspectives of SDGs. Awards are given across the 3 categories, and we had 9 outstanding flagship projects, 15 acknowledged flagship projects, and 9 honorable mention projects last year. Under this ongoing, very difficult situation, RCs made so much effort to organize webinars and online conferences for the global and regional RC communities. Global conferences were organized by the RC Scotland, but postponed to this year in November. 2 global webinars were organized in February and June by the RC Scotland as a pre-conference event. I'm sure many of you have participated in those events. RC regional meetings were also organized online in 4 continents, despite this very difficult situation. 10th African Regional Meeting was hosted by RC MENA. 13th AP RC webinar series were hosted by the RC Kyrgyzstan. And 9th America's RC Regional Meeting was hosted by the RC Salisbury, and Europe RC Regional Meeting was hosted by the East Midlands. All the efforts and activities made by RCs were also crystallized into the publication of the book on climate action in 2020. This book highlights RC climate action during the Global Action Program on ESD. This book contains 3 case reports from African RCs, as well as the many other case studies from the other 3 regions. Based on the publication, a video was also published last year. This gives visual images and voices of RCs in a local community settings. It will be great if you can use these publications and video for your communication channel to enrich and expand your network. Last year and this year are very important milestone years for the promotion of ESD. Aligning with ESD for 2030 framework, we developed roadmap for the RC community in close consultation with RCEs and Ubuntu committee. This presents 4 strategic priority areas for the next 10 years for RCEs. Another important update is that we have a new addendum to guiding principles. Now we have a very clear rule about RC commitment and also the delisting of the membership. In short, it is very, very important for all RCs to upload your project and update your profile page of RC portal site every year in order to keep your membership. Important RC events are also coming in the next few months. Now we have RC Youth Climate Art Challenge, which is open now, and submission due is 30th of September, end of this month. And Global RC Conference is organized in November. Now we have open call for presentations and workshop sessions and marketplace exhibitions, and registration is also open. And finally, we have RC Awards applications open. Due is on 15th of October. And for the detail, please visit our RC portal site. Lastly, I have a few reminders from the Global RC Service Center. As I mentioned, please upload your project and update your profile page. And please keep eye on the guidelines for the logo use and social media and news and event information. If you have, please share it to the RC Bulletin. For any further questions, please send an email to RC Global Service Center. That's all from me now. Thank you very much for your listening.
My name is Dr. Abdul Husseini. I'm the coordinator of RC MENA in Nigeria. My name is Dr. Abdul Husseini. I'm the coordinator of RC MENA in Nigeria. RC MENA was acknowledged by United Nations University, Tokyo in 2011. Prior to that acknowledgement, there were only 2 RCs, Lagos and Kano. With the coming of RC MENA, we became 3, and collectively, we've been working together to propagate and ensure the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals. Since our acknowledgement in 2011, we've been modestly doing our little effort to ensure our environment is being protected and our citizens are being enlightened to know the value of the environment, not only for them but for future generations. We have done so much within the short span of our existence as an RCE. We have collaborated with secondary schools, with Ministry of Women Affairs, and even the NGO of the governor, Dr. Amina Abubakar Bello. It is interesting to note RC MENA, within our 10 or 11 years of existence, we have consistently been celebrating World Environment Day, where we mark this day by planting of trees and ensuring that the public joins us in doing that. Within this period, we are proud to say we have planted over 3,000 trees, which can be seen along some of our major roads or in our garden, where we name it after one illustrious member of the community in Mina, the late Bridget Aisha Lemu, who passed away some 2 years back. She lived her life propagating peaceful coexistence, environmental protection, and gender equality. We named this park after her, and we also promise as an RCE to ensure the survival and development of this RCE, development of this park. It is important to also mention that our activity of planting trees drew the attention of the wife of the governor, where she supported our activities by inviting us to develop and implement a program we call Schools Empowerment and Nutrition Supplementation through Agriculture, or SENSA for short. This program saw 15 secondary schools benefiting from both shade and fruit trees, whereby this initiative led to the emergence of new gardening concept within the school, where they use this garden to improve their nutrition. We are proud to say this program is one flagship project that we're very, very, very happy about, and we hope to continue with such a thing. As we mark the 11th RC African Conference, I wish each and every one of us successful deliberation. We are ready to collaborate at any time. Thank you.
Being implemented holistically as a clustered-wide intervention by Bara.
Please bear with us. We're having some technical difficulties. We'll play the video soon.
Hello there, this is Regional Center of Expertise, Ogun, from Covenant University in Nigeria. My name is Olagunju Omoniyi. I'm one of the team lead in the center. This project is about exploring the indigenous capacity for climate action. And we promoted this by developing green skills for tackling climate change in youth in Ogun State. Climate change awareness is not new in Nigeria. However, youth engagement has been very low, and we believe this is the very key to an effective response. This project centers on student engagement, and we focus on secondary school students in Ogun State. We educated each school on the science of climate change. We have about 6 different schools that we work with, and each school were asked to come up with an indigenous project that tackles climate change in their locality. In this pilot execution, students were able to engage in 6 different projects. The first one engaged in recycling, the use of plastic PET bottles as decorative ornaments. The second school, they used recycled plastic cups as a water fountain, while the third school, they recycled plastic PET bottles as a greenhouse. The first school actually produced the prototype of a farm that runs entirely on recycled materials and also runs on renewable energy. The fifth school produced a project known as Operation One Seed at a Time, and that's by distributing seeds for people, for the populace to plant. The sixth group created local and social awareness through environmental sanitation of the local environment. These students came up with these projects and they were motivated to execute them. The interesting thing was that even the community were inspired by their engagement and they commended their efforts. And through this engagement, we were able to secure several partnerships from the banking sector, the environmental sector, and even the governmental sector. These are what we're able to achieve with our projects. Thank you very much.
RCE Greater Yenagoa. RCE Greater Yenagoa is situated in Nigeria. The main aim is to coordinate and harness the strength of affiliated organizations and others. It is aimed towards improving the quality of lives of the people in the network area. This report is about a youth development program being implemented holistically as a clustered-wide intervention by Bahrain and Ekpetiama Development Cluster. It intends to reduce unemployment through the following means. 1. Sustainable development livelihood assessment and planning, community education for participants towards imbibing sustainable development practices, annual inter-community youth football and traditional wrestling competition as drivers for sports development, annual postgraduate scholarship award scheme for deserving masters and PhD students, and annual skills acquisition scheme with Niger Delta University, an affiliate as consultant. We seek more funding and technical support from local, national and international collaborators to better achieve the set objectives.
You are welcome to the Regional Center of Expertise MENA from Nigeria in West Africa. Over time, this RCE has engaged primarily in environmental sustainability, youth engagement and development. In acknowledgement of some of these activities, the RCE was in 2011 recognized by the United Nations University Institute of Advanced Study for Sustainability. In pursuit of environmental sustainability, we have carried out several sensitization around the environment, especially during the annual World Environmental Day celebration, with over 2,000 trees planted. The school empowerment and nutritional supplementation through agriculture is another activity founded and funded by the wife of the Niger State government, which has won the RCE Flagship Award. About 3,000 trees were planted. Children were also provided an opportunity to learn about the environment through the Green Fingers project. RCE MENA has facilitated the participation of its youth at the Youth Unite for Voluntary Action and has also hosted 3 African RCE Youth Virtual Conference. The current project of RCE MENA, which is the Bridget Aisha Lemu Conservatory and Children's Park, has the idea to help with outreach and conservatory education and promoting learning opportunities for people of all ages, with emphasis on natural and traditional knowledge of plants. The park will house the major trees found in the whole of northern Nigeria with their local name, economy, and medicinal value. And in terms of collaboration, RCE MENA is open to collaborate with other RCEs through knowledge sharing and opportunities for capacity building around sustainability.
I'm the coordinator of the RCE Greater Masaka. It is found in the central region of Uganda. The project we are engaging in is a flagship project called the Lake Victoria Catchment Environment Education Project. And its purpose is to preserve the catchment of Lake Victoria. We have an integration of global ideas from the United Nations as well as local implementation. I would like to cooperate with all other RCEs on common areas like research, teaching, and community engagement.
RCE Eswatini is a virtual entity rather than an established organization, facilitating EE or ESD activities in the country. The key activities on sustainable development include issues of public awareness, participation, access to information, training and capacity building, community outreach, collaborative research and curriculum reform. RCE Eswatini's creative innovation project is Pasasa Konawe or Bring Your Own Bag campaign, which started on the 4th of December 2020 and it's still ongoing. During selected days, which is Thursdays to Mondays, shops do not provide plastic bags. Shoppers are expected to bring their own shopping bags. This campaign is aimed at sensitizing the public about the environmental effects caused by single-use plastic bags and also inculcate some behavioral change around the issue of single-use plastic waste. The project has had a lot of strong political support from both Cabinet and Parliament, and most shops have shown their commitment to the campaign by ensuring that plastics are not distributed on the no plastic days. There is also high compliance from members of the public as they bring their own shopping bags or buy those that are provided in the shops and at times even carry their groceries using their hands. There has also been a multiplier effect in terms of economic boost for women who took the opportunity to make affordable shopping bags.
My name is Tsepo Mukuku. I am an associate professor at the National University of Lesotho and currently the chairperson of RCE Lesotho. Established in 2009 with the support of SADAGRIP and acknowledged by United Nations University in 2011, RCE Lesotho has been developing steadily over the years. Notably, the thrust of our work has been in community work, by working with a peri-urban Tlokweng Valley community as our ESD experimental site. Working with this community since 2012 in partnership with the Jeff Small Grants Program, Conservation Music of the United States, and SADC Regional Environmental Education Program, we have been experimenting with innovative ESD strategies of biodiversity conservation and ecotourism, such as the application of Boto philosophy in conservation, community-driven mini-SARs, hiking trails, and the use of music for biodiversity conservation. On mini-SARs, we are collaborating with RCEs KZN and Makana through the Orange Sinku Basin Engagement Strategy. We have also recently been exploring astrotourism and establishment of a community environmental center in Tlokweng. With the support of UNESCO in 2021, we will be broadening our membership by strengthening our RCE Lesotho Youth Desk and creating district-based RCE chapters. Confronted with the COVID-19 pandemic, we feel that it is time for Africa to rise higher in search for knowledges and worldviews that will usher more sustainable futures with greater potency to create a happier, fair, and just world for all. May our 11th African RCE regional meeting be a great success.
Hello, my name is Professor Esther Kibuka Sebitosi. I'm based at the University of South Africa. I'm here to introduce the Gauteng Regional Center of Expertise on Education for Sustainable Development, ESD. This center was started way back in 2015 to look at the sustainability challenges within the Gauteng province, which is one of the 9 provinces in South Africa. We focus on water, we focus on biodiversity, indigenous knowledge systems, as well as waste management, among others. What is unique about this center is the use of ESD and implementation of ESD within existing structures using a multi-inter and transdisciplinary approach. So we have stakeholders, including universities, the NGOs, and the research institutions working together on this problem. For collaboration, we want to collaborate within Africa, working on joint projects, and abroad, with the ESD ExpertNet, like working on joint projects, developing courses, MOOCs, and so on. Thank you so much.
Welcome to RCE Makana. We are based here at Rhodes University in the beautiful Eastern Cape. RCE Makana has been going from 2007, and we collaborate with civil society, NGOs, and the university and municipalities. Unfortunately, in Makanda, we face many environmental problems such as drought, water scarcity, inadequate water supply and water quality, as well as waste removal, waste collection services, and land pollution. We also have a huge majority of our citizens in Makanda who are unemployed. Therefore, RC Makana is working hard to create river rescue projects all along the rivers of Makanda, as well as try to involving the municipalities in waste collection initiatives that will better serve our town and our small city. We're also working with civil society in order to upscale youth that they can now be prepared to enter the job market in terms of being environmental ambassadors and eco-champs. Our work as River Rescue really started kicking off in 2019. Since then, we have done numerous river rescue projects, which involves community members and high school children going along the rivers and cleaning up the rivers as they go.
Hi, my name's Tim Taylor from the KwaZulu-Natal RCE here in South Africa, and we've been working collaboratively for many years, since 2007 when we were founded, working collaboratively with many organizations that are interested in education for sustainable development. One of our main focus areas has been on water education, helping people understand the risks with water and working towards solving some of the pollution and other issues that happen in our rivers and streams. One of the techniques we're using is called MiniSAS, the Stream Assessment Scoring System, which is a biomonitoring approach to stream and river analysis. It costs nothing to use, and the answers are quite quick, and it works really well with SDG 6.3.2 as a level 2 indicator. We'd like to work with RCEs worldwide to develop these biomonitoring approaches so everyone can understand their stream and river quality better. Thank you so much for joining hands with us.
Wow, such great presentations and videos from our RC colleagues all across Africa. I think you will agree with me to say that we are really inspired by all of these projects that we've seen all across, and we're hoping to see more engagement and more collaboration as we're saying it is time for Africa. And let's hope that the next decade is going to be so much more flourishing of these amazing environmental projects. And it is now time for our special keynote address by our very own distinguished research professor, Hela Lotsitska, who I'm sure needs no introduction, as most of you on this platform know her because of her work all over the region. But I'm just going to give a small introduction anyway. Chair is based in the Environmental Learning Research Center here at Rhodes University, which she has directed for 21 years. And the current focus of the chair's research is transformative social learning and green skills learning pathways in the areas of biodiversity, the water-food nexus, climate change, social and environmental justice, and just sustainability transitions, which Professor Hela does so well, and which she's going to also tell you in her keynote address. So, Prof. Hela, over to you.
Thank you so much, Prevan, and thank you everybody for those wonderful contributions and inspiring presentations. It's so nice to see this RCE network just flourishing after many years and just keeping going. And it was lovely to see so many familiar colleagues, Tsepo and Esther, of course, my very dear friend Akpezi, Rob and Jim, many others that we've worked with for so many years in this area. So Prevan has asked me to do a shortish keynote and I'm going to try my best. And what I wanted to do today was just bring to you some of the work that has been going on on this continent for a long time now. And it feels to me like, the time is now, the time for Africa is here, and somehow we must be able to share this work more broadly, more quickly outwards. So I'm going to try and share a little bit with you of some of the work we've been doing in trying to make sense of what's going on and what we can actually tell the world and how we can go forward and do that together. So I want to just switch off all these panels and things here, Prevan, again, so please just let me know if there's a need to stop with anything. And let me find my way here to slideshow. And let's go. So the title of my keynote presentation today is Transgressively Reimagining Learning Processes and Learning Systems with RCEs and Sustainability Starts with Teachers Teams in Africa. I think Previn mentioned that we are joined here by the Sustainability Starts with Teachers program, which we're running at the moment across 11 countries in Southern Africa. And it is really a giant RCE program because we're working with all of the teacher education institutions in Southern Africa together with the UNESCO Harare office. And this comes from many years of work with UNESCO, with UNEP. Akpezi will remember when we started the RCE meetings when she was still at UNEP, and we had the UNESCO ESD directorate with us there, and we had the UNU Zenaida Fadiva, and we were all there in the office at Akpezi's office there in Nairobi, the headquarters of the UN in Africa. And we were meeting and talking about how to set these RCEs up. I think Tsepo was there with us as well when we were also establishing the MESA program. So we haven't stopped and we have not given up. And what we are doing is we are putting Africa's work on the map. And I want to invite us all to do that as we go forward together out of this RCE conference and join hands with SST and the other networks. Let's see what we can put into the world together. So the most important thing that's happened, I think, in the last maybe 25 years in the UN system when it comes to ESD is this statement, which came out of the Berlin Declaration. It's number 9. It's the last statement in the Berlin Declaration. I think one talked about the World ESD conference that took place very recently. There was the declaration coming out of that, the Berlin Declaration. This is the last statement in that declaration. I think it's the most important statement that I've seen actually in any UN document for all of the time I've been working in this field, which is nearly 30 years now. It says, and I'm going to read it to you, it says, transformative learning for people and the planet is a necessity for our survival and that of future generations. And then it says that the time to learn and act for our planet is now. Now, this is just, for me, it's such a profound statement in a UN declaration. And if we could take all of this statement into all of our institutions, our communities, our learning programs, our curriculums, our examination systems, our quality assurance systems in the education sector, we will be able to make some progress and in advancing the work that we've been doing so creatively for the last 20, 30 years. It's such an important statement. So I really want everybody to see it, to take note of it, and to work with it, to use it to carry forward the work that you're doing. I wanted to share as well with you some of the things that we've been doing out of the T, what we call the T learning program, because we took up this challenge of transformative learning, you know, coming from this history of work over the last 20, 30 years. And in what we started to say was, well, actually, if you want to transform education, you must transform learning, because learning is at the heart of education. And if we can transform learning, then we can transform curriculums, we can transform assessment systems, we can transform all of the other things around what is really important, which is transformative learning. And we made a partnership with the International Science Council a few years ago to explore, you know, T-learning in transformations to sustainability. And this was such an exciting project because we were able to, you know, gather the histories of T-learning, and we were able to really launch a strong project to look into T-learning more carefully as a research and practice community. And what we discovered actually is that we have so many cases, stories, and examples of learning-led change processes from across Africa. And these are very important because they are gifting us knowledge of T-learning qualities and processes. So I would love to, you know, hear more about the stories from the RCEs that we heard this morning, RCE in Uganda and in Nigeria, and, you know, colleagues from, you know, across our continent, and maybe Patience will be able to help us to do this work as she holds the ESD focal point now also for Africa. And let's bring our knowledge of this work together. And we've got this beautiful gift, and it's a gift that we're all giving each other, of what this T-learning looks like. I think Tsepo mentioned, the local knowledges and metaphors and ways of thinking that we need to bring into our learning systems in order to do this work as one example. And so what colleagues have been doing, and what we also tried to do in this research project, was to kind of like sharpen this work a little bit and then begin to think about what does it involve. So we looked at, how do we develop the tools for co-engaged research and learning with others? How do we co-define the matters of concern together? How do we expand our processes of collective learning together? And then how do we describe these learning processes and then in order to share them with others? So there's a lot of research data that's come from this project, which we can, of course, share. Here, I'll just show you quickly some of the cases that we really concentrated on. This is a case from Ethiopia, where the focus was on protecting sacred natural sites and biocultural diversity. Many of you will know the work of Milian Belay, fantastic work using three-dimensional participatory mapping with communities to transform decision-making around their land and land use. This is the work from Gibson and Pepo and the LEAD network in Malawi, doing fantastic work on informal learning with women around climate change adaptation, and just valuing women's knowledge and then bringing that into learning processes in order to build new adaptation practices in communities. Really fantastic work. Here's work in Zimbabwe from Mutizwa and his network of organic farmers, which have been going on for many, many years as well, and really strengthening now this work, not just in local context, but in associations and across scales. So taking the T-learning work from the grassroots into different levels of associations and across scales. So working, multiple levels in the system in Zimbabwe. This is a case study that we worked on with, many of you will remember Tich Pesanai, who was one of the leaders in SADC on T-learning and ESD. And he really started to work on working with farmers, youth, farmers' knowledges, and trying to bring water for food, which has become a major challenge in Southern Africa as we face the challenges of climate change, and to strengthen and extend people's knowledge of rainwater harvesting and conservation practices. Here's another example. It's on toxic pollution into our water systems. And we can go on and on and on and on and on and on with these examples. We have so many. So there are so many, many other stories of learning and change from our RCEs, as we've just heard, from our Sustainability Starts with Teachers course participants, our previous MESA course participants. We can see them coming, holding a lot of the RCEs together here. And the many Africa ESD Learning and Change networks that we are connected to and that we continue to work with. Even though times change, we don't seem to lose connection with each other. So there's something very special and important that's happened there too. So I feel like we should do, following Akpezi's poem, let's do a book with the title, It's Time for Africa. So I want to come back to that at the end. So in this project, we've also been trying to then look into it, a little bit more carefully from a sort of theoretical point of view, so that we can make a good case into the education system. And we've looked at the history of learning theory, and we've seen that most learning theory is focused on acquisition or participation, and we've been really working to bring, acquisition and participation together with transformation and change. So we're building a new metaphor or a new framework for learning on the African continent that we can take out and share, and people are so interested all over the world. So let's, bring our capacity together, and we're using all sorts of theoretical traditions and resources to do this. We're using learning theory with sociology, psychology, philosophy, politics, decolonial theory, very powerful form of theory that's helping us to do this work, feminism, political ecology, science studies. And it just shows us that if we wanted to really, bring together what Africa has to give to the world, we have many resources to draw on, and we have our own creativity as well, which we've been mobilizing in this particular process. So we've been learning a lot about T-learning processes. I'll share just some very quick key lessons with you. There's more, and we will also, and have been trying to share them. One is to co-define matters of concern, to work with people to work out what it is that is concerning them and start from there. Because if you can work with people on issues, you're not working for them, or you're not telling them what to do. You're working with them around their matters of concern. Very, very critical starting point. And as you could see from Mutizwa's work, this can go into multi-levels across a whole country through various associations which share the same matters of concern. So this is a very crucial principle that's come through from all of the work we've been doing over these years with thousands of different change projects and learning-led change initiatives. This is another very important insight that we've gathered from this, is to not be shy of contradictions, but to find the ones that are fertile. Injaru had this lovely way of saying it, engage fertile contradictions. So we have to find the contradictions in our society. You know, when assessment is contradicting with the way we want to teach learning, we need to engage that contradiction and try to resolve it. You know, Akpesi showed us in her beautiful poem the contradictions, you know, between our aspirations and what's really going to make good quality of life for all people on the planet. So we have to engage these contradictions and see them as fertile for learning, fertile for new knowledge, fertile for new opportunities. We have to build solidarity networks, and I think we are particularly good at that in Africa. And one of the things we're so grateful for in the SST program is that we've had some additional resources coming in to really strengthen those solidarity networks. And so we're very excited about this link up now also with the RCE networks and the SST networks in order to continue to build these solidarity networks. And we need these networks locally, but we also need them nationally, and we also need them regionally, and we also need them across the continent. So these are the things we need to give time and attention to. And we should not be shy of what we call optimal disruption. So we shouldn't be shy of saying that things are not working the way they should be working, and we do need alternatives. And this I learned from, you know, the SADC REAP early on when I started to work with it. People said, look, we don't want any more courses telling us what to do. We actually want to learn about alternatives. We want to say these things are no longer that good for us. We want alternatives. Let's work out what those alternatives are. So for that, we don't need to be shy of optimal disruption and saying this is not quite the way it should be. We actually prefer it to be this way. And I think there's some very strong scholars in this RCE network that, you know, are leading the way there. I think Tsepo being one of them, definitely. And then we need to build knowledge democracy. And this is such a beautiful little image that Dylan and his team over here developed for us in the T-Learning project. They said that, you know, we're not dealing so much with environmental problems, we're dealing with stuck humans. And they said we need to make a pluriversity for stuck humans so that we can unstick ourselves and that we can actually think differently, do things differently, respect each other's knowledges. Let's build knowledge democracy. Let's make tiny books. Let's share as much knowledge as we can with whoever we can, wherever we can, in whichever way we can. And so we just used in one A4 piece of paper and we made little books, tiny books. They're so quick and easy to make as a little tool for knowledge democracy. But there's so many other tools that we can use for knowledge democracy. And this is a very important part of all of this work. Jim talked about the mini SAS. You know, that's one of the first projects in the early days of giving away the tools of science. And now we're looking at potentially having, you know, a project with, you know, maybe 10,000, if we're lucky, 10,000 young people in South Africa using mini SAS that will be able to manage and help us to monitor and manage our rivers in the way that Previn was telling us about. So we need a pluriversity for stuck humans. We all need to be in it, and we need to build knowledge democracies. This is what the young people are telling us here in the ELRC and in the T-Learning network. So we've also been able to work out some dimensions of T-Learning meanings. I'm going to move through these a little bit quickly. We can share them with you. But one is that T-Learning is actually one of the T-Learnings. It's T for transformative. And when we look at T for transformative, if we look at the UNESCO guidelines, it says we need to encourage cognitive and emotional perspective shifts that potentially lead to political or social ecological agency for change and the affirmation of species being on our planet. And I think the RCE stories that were told just now are all doing that, if I had to make a very quick judgment. We also need T for transgressive. And by this, we mean we need to explicitly challenge normalized practices, cultures, and systems that hold injustices, forms of oppression, and unsustainability in place. And we can do that with critique and with courage, with empathy, with kindness, with disruption. I mentioned the optimal disruption, and with reflexivity, and with many other many other skills that we have to explicitly, carefully challenge these things that have become normalized, that are really not doing us or the planet any good anymore. Another T for T learning is transdisciplinary. So we need to cross boundaries to co-create new concepts, new forms of human activity in iterative and collaborative ways. And currently there's a lot of transdisciplinarity in the universities emerging there, but we need to move out of the universities and into all learning systems, strengthen transdisciplinary approaches there too. And then the last one, which is probably the most important one for T learning together, is to work with others to right and to rewrite the wrongs, to strengthen collective agency and system-wide change. We can't do this alone. We must do it together. So T learning together is very, very important. And one of the most interesting and exciting things is that wherever we go, wherever we look, wherever we see these cases emerging, that there is such a high interest in more creative, critical, engaged, and more radical pedagogical development and social learning. And we see that in our change projects, we see that in the RCEs, we see it in many, many places on the African continent. As soon as there's a chance that people feel free in order to be able to do this more creative pedagogical work, they take it up. There's a picture of Taswika. She yesterday showed us the incredible work they've been doing in Botswana, for example. So, you know, there's a lot happening across all of these networks and with all of our colleagues. And from the most elderly ladies, you can see here, these are the old ladies that were working with Teach in his project. And they were so keen on, you know, doing things in this more different, radical way. So we mustn't think that it's only the young people that are looking for different ways of living and doing and learning on the African continent. It's all of us. So we should open the space and the opportunities for more people to do this together. And we have to carry this into our learning systems. We need T learning in our learning systems. And this new report that's just come out also at the Berlin Declaration, at that conference where the Berlin Declaration came out, said Learn for Our Planet. It's a global review of how environmental issues are integrated into education. And there's a lot of work to be done still by all of us in terms of curriculum transformation. The study showed that only 45% of national education documents that were studied, or 45% of these documents made little to no reference to environmental themes. And this is a tragedy because we depend on our biodiversity. We're confronting massive climate change challenges. Our water systems are under threat. We must bring these things more explicitly into our curriculums with transformative learning processes backing them up. And we must give attention to our teachers, because teachers are the single most important factor in enabling quality education. And I think Akpezi put so much effort into working with us as university teachers, and I'm so grateful that she did that so many years ago. She brought us together as a MESA network, university teachers, to learn to think and to teach differently in our universities, so that we can also do that with other teachers. And we're now working in the Sustainability Starts with Teachers program to do that work with all of our teacher education institutions. And teachers, colleagues, there's 85 million teachers in the world, and they are teaching 23% of the world's people. That's a quarter of the world's people are in the hands of our teachers. So the next generation is in the hands of our teachers. So hence we really want to put a lot of emphasis on, you know, working creatively with our teachers. And I want to tell our RCE network that our the Sustainability Starts with Teachers program, this year we have 300 teacher educators on the program Akpezi. As we went online with the Sustainability Starts with Teachers program last year, we were able to, this year now, we have 300 teacher education colleagues on the SST course. So we're growing the program. We're hoping in the next year or two to make it completely open access. We also want to build partnerships with East Africa, I think, and with West Africa, with patients helping us to do that as we go with ESD 2030. So very important work to be done. And for me, this is a new question that's come up, and it's come up as we've been sitting online with COVID-19. And it's a question about it's a very important T-learning question, I think. It says, what does e-learning mean for T-learning in transformations to sustainability? How do we make sure we don't get stuck in a Zoom box and not work in the world? Now, this is a big challenge for us. As much as we appreciate the e-learning power and potential, how do we not get stuck in a Zoom box as we do e-learning? So these are the things we have to confront and have to think about, have to take forward as we go forward together in these networks. This is some very interesting research that I found, which is starting to look at the influence of online education during the COVID-19 pandemic. It's a study in Romania, and what it shows is that there's been quite a high loss of particularly authentic communication, personalized support, monitoring of learning processes, high quality feedback to learners, and explanations to improve understanding. So this is very critical if we think that e-learning is going to solve all of our problems. I think it's not exactly going to do that. And as educators, we have to continue to think about the T-learning in e-learning. And I want to leave us perhaps with that as a challenge in these times where we've all been pushed online with our education. And then just to say that transgressively reimagining learning in RCEs and SST programs is crucial for the Africa that we want. I don't think we can achieve it without that. And I wanted to say that it is time for Africa. I totally agree with Akpezi and the RCE theme of this year. And let's see if we can keep building sustainable futures for all with T-learning together, and whether we can't find a way across our networks perhaps to share some of this incredible work that has been going on across the continent in so many of these cases and contexts and stories and experiences that we've just been hearing about. So thank you very much from me. It's been such an honor to be here today, and I, just like Maleche, feel very humbled to be part of these networks. So thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prof. Hela, for that wonderful keynote presentation. I think you really set the tone of our meeting as well, and really brought all of the powerful RC stories together for us. And really, that is us going into the future, because we really want to build a better future for all of Africa and the world. And I think it's very important to bring that transgressive learning and the discipline of working together and collaboratively. So thank you so much, Prof. Hela, for that wonderful keynote. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was our quick blitz tour of the RCE Africa networks. And we had a whole lot of presentations and videos, and we really hope you enjoyed them, and a kind of quick glimpse into all of these different RCEs. So what we want to do now is get a bit more interactive, and the way we're going to do that is a bit unusual, so please do stick with me. Maleche, can you put up the slides? Okay, so what we want to do now is we want to go into a breakout room session, and you will see the link for the breakout room in the chat. It is coming up in the chat there, just above, and it is also on the slides itself. So as you can see in the chats, we're putting it up now. There you go, in the chat. There's your breakout room link. So if you hover over the blue writing and click on that, it will automatically take you into the next meeting. So in the next meeting room, we are going to do a breakout room where we are going to discuss these questions. And the questions are really what we've been asking our RCEs to give us for these videos. And I want to put it to you in asking these questions. And we're going to use the Miro board to do that. And again, look in the chat. You will have the Miro board. These will also be given to you in the next room. So if you don't get it now, that's fine. But please do click on that breakout room as well. The questions we want you to ask in your breakout rooms are: who are we? What is our key focus? And you will be joined with numerous other RCEs. Or other SST participants, and that's fine. It'll be great to have a dialogue between you guys and come up with something really fresh and innovative. What is our creative innovation? That's the second question. And then how we plan to collaborate with other RCEs. So those are 3 questions which we are spending half an hour with, and we're doing that in the other breakout room. So please do click on that Zoom link I provided you above. Yes, Prof?
Evan, we have to go out of this one and into the new one. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
So we must click on the new one and then make sure we're out of this one.
Yes. And if you do get lost, you can also just put the Zoom ID. There's no password. It's 270-033-7309. And that will take you straight to our new Zoom room.
So we just click on it and go. And
yeah,
then
once you click on it.
And
yes,
then when
everybody,
when everybody's gone, Zandi will close this room then.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and we'll continue our meeting there.
Okay.
Okay, everybody. Malechi will be here in this room to help you on your way to the next room. Please do click on the blue writing there. As you can see in the chat, it says https://zoom.us/270. Click on that and you'll automatically get redirected. And I will be in the other room waiting to welcome you. So thank you, everybody, and see you there.
Thanks, Bevan. We'll see you in the next room in a minute.
Definitely. Bye.
The other room seems to want password.
Hey.
Maleche, the other room seems to want a password to get in. I'm just
okay. Kevin is editing it now, and then we'll, yeah. And people should just click on that link.
Okay.
Thanks.
We just wait another little bit.
Yeah, I think it's always good to just wait a few minutes and then see what's happening.
Okay. I think, Maleche, can you put the link back into this chat now, because I had to go out and then it cut me off and then I need
I don't know if it was somebody put the password in, but I took the password out now.
Yes. Okay, let me try it again.
Maybe not.
Okay. No, that's not the password. Okay, please try it again. I'm going to try it from my phone as well.
Okay, can you hear me now? Okay, good. Great. Sorry, I don't know how that happened. Someone put in the password in the meantime. Okay, let's wait for, we've got 17 people in here, which is great. So there's no more passcode, so people are coming in. Hi, Charles, how are you?
Jim. And as you can see, this is the variable that you're going to go to. And I've just put on sticky notes group 1 to 7. And here are the focuses. So this line will be the first question. The second line is the second question. Feel free to Hi, everyone. We still have people in the webinar session. Can we all click on the link that is provided in the chat? And then so that we can exit this meeting, so we can all join the breakout rooms. And then that's where we'll start our discussion, focusing on those 3 questions. Thank you so much. And we apologize for the inconvenience. There seems to have been a problem where the other link was requesting participants to enter a password. So we've sorted that out. And we are going to kindly request everyone to leave this room so we can close it, and then click on the link. I've sent each and every single one of you a chat message. So if you check in the chat, there should be a direct message to everyone that's giving you the link. Please click on that link so we can exit this meeting, and then we can join the other group. They're giving us another few minutes so that we can all leave this room, and then they're going to start. So I advise you all to check your chat. And then if you haven't received any message, it means it's still coming through. But in the next 5 minutes, just know that they are going to start with the breakout room discussion. So please, please, please check your phones. And then there is a chat message to every one of you requesting you to click on the link. So I have Anna Armstrong, Fancy, Clementina, David, Dr. Gama, Jackson, John, Joshua, Kasim. Please click on the link in the chat. Lenonia, Mbunda, Michael, Mr. White, Sandile, Simanga, Wilson, Zakaria. Can we all click on the link provided to you in the chat so we can exit this meeting and join the other room for the breakout session? Okay, there's a request to send the link again. I'm doing that again now in the chat. Please check the chat. There's a link there. That's a URL. If you click on that, it's going to open Zoom on your phone or on your laptop automatically. And then it's going to take you into the other Zoom platform. However, if you have Zoom installed on your phone, on your laptop, on your tablet, or whatever, you can either click on the link or use the meeting ID. So it's going to ask you for an ID, and you click on that. So there is no password. And then you go, you follow the instructions on your screen. You just say enter or continue, and it's going to take you into that meeting. So we're going to close this platform in the next 5 minutes. Zakaria, Sivumelwano, Shongwe, Simanga, Sandile, Mr. White, Bunda, Kasim, Joshua, John, Jessica, Jackson, Gabriel, Dr. Gama, Boniface, Bensi, Anna. Can you kindly leave this room so that I can close this platform? The other session is about to start, so we kindly request you guys to leave this room. Hi, Sis Bules. Sis Belusile, I've sent you the link in the chat. I see you've put a message in the Q&A, so I've responded to that question. So thank you so much for your patience. We are going to close this platform now. Boniface. Boniface, I've allowed you to talk. You may. Are you having any issues? Boniface, you've raised your hand. I've allowed you to talk. Please proceed. Are you still having issues? Anna, Dr. Gama, Gabriel, Jackson, Jessica, John, Joshua, Mbunda, Mando, Sandile, Sivumeluano, Zakaria, and someone with a phone or camera, Techno Camon 16 and 17. Would you kindly exit this platform and join the other meeting? Gabriel and Boniface, I've allowed you guys to speak. Please speak if you're still having any issues. Then we can try and address them. Hello, Mercy Alex. Are you having issues logging in? Please check the chat. I have put the message again with the login details to the breakout room sessions. Please click on that link and then you will be taken out of this meeting and into the other meeting. So don't worry if you see your screen saying, please wait, just give it a few seconds. It's gonna kick you out once you've clicked on the link and then you'll go to the other meeting. Gabriel and Boniface, I've allowed you guys to speak. So please speak or put your chat. Sorry, please put your comments in the chat. Then we can try to address them promptly. Thank you. Okay. Zandi, I'm gonna exit this platform and then I'm gonna join the other meeting. Thank you so much.